Anna Rickers from the Independent Women's Forum is on the program. Anna, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Cam, thanks for having me back on your show.
Absolutely. And, you know, as we're talking about these gun control proposals, we're starting to see some of the things shape up from the Obama administration. Looks like they're going to be pushing for an end to private transactions of firearms, pushing for a ban on semi-automatic firearms, pushing for a ban on magazines that are capable of holding more than, we don't know what the number would be, but let's say 10 rounds of ammunition. And you write about this, Anna, at the Independent Women's Forum, IWF.org. You say women should fight back against these attempts to restrict magazine size.
Absolutely, because women are the ones who benefit from the most. Well, maybe not the most, but I certainly feel I benefit the most from being able to use a firearm to protect my family. Because when it comes to me and some young person or even an old person intent on doing evil, I mean, I just had a baby. I'm out of shape. I've got 2 small children. I can't, fist to fist. I cannot equal them. I mean, they can overtake me. The firearm is the only way that I can kind of level the playing field and protect my family from a bad guy.
Yeah, and you know that mom in Georgia who defended herself and her twins against this home intruder. She had a revolver, and she shot this guy 5 times. He lived, and he was able to crawl out of the house. But here's the thing, Anna, and you point this out. I mean, there are home invasion stories where you've got 3, 4, 5 individuals, going into a home, targeting it at random. At some point, this mom may have needed more than 6 bullets. And who's to say this mom, only gets to have 6 bullets to defend herself and her 2 children?
Absolutely. And when we talk about banning semi-automatic weapons, well, that's the most common technology. Firearms most firearms in America have that semi-automatic technology.
Yeah.
And so it's just like the standard handgun, the standard Glock or whatever, which is really upsetting because it's people that don't have the information, that don't like guns, that are scared of guns, and don't want to refuse to be educated about guns enough to have an intelligent debate. They hear the word semi-automatic and they think, oh, automatic, and they don't realize that guns are the most heavily regulated item that a individual citizen can, well, one of the most heavily regulated items that an individual citizen can own. So it's not like there aren't gun laws already out there. This further gun laws only affect the law-abiding. And in terms of personal safety, I mean, you bring up that example of the woman using a 6-shot revolver. And she, the .38 doesn't have as much stopping power as perhaps a larger gun. And for caliber, well, you know this better than I do. The bigger the gun, probably the less number of rounds you may need. But people have people have make personal decisions of, first of all, to carry a gun or to use a weapon, and they find a weapon that they're comfortable with. And you have to be prepared for, the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario being 4 or 5 guys breaking into your house. I don't want some arbitrary limit by President Obama or Senator Biden who thinks, well, you just should have 10-round magazines or to perhaps even limit me just to a revolver for my own personal protection, while at the same time the taxpayers are paying for their protection, where they have professional guards using all sorts of weapons, any weapon available for protection of their family and themselves. It's hypocritical, and it's just not right.
Well, here's the thing, though, Anna. Look, if we were to ban these magazines that are capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition, then that would mean that the criminals wouldn't have access to them because they'd be banned. And so, you wouldn't have. Why are you laughing? I mean, that's the point of the law, right? We ban them so that the criminals can't get. Are you saying this would not be effective, Anna? Is that...
We outlaw burglary. I mean, that's a crime. Criminals aren't supposed to. Felons aren't supposed to touch firearms, and yet they still get their hands on them, and then we prosecute them. I mean, there's all sorts of just the virtue of being a criminal means that you ignore the law. And a magazine is not this really technical. I mean, I couldn't do it, but from what I understand, it's not a really hard thing to manufacture.
Right.
Out of the back of your garage. So, It's completely arbitrary. It's all it does is just one more hoop for the law-abiding citizen to jump through, because the law-abiding citizen by nature is going to comply with the law no matter how asinine it is.
So, Anna, let me ask you, when you've been talking to other moms about this, and I'm assuming you're talking to some moms who aren't gun owners, what are they? What's the general feeling that you're getting from parents out there?
Well, a lot of women in particular are just kind of who've never been around guns. I mean, I grew up in a family that hunted, and my parents instilled gun safety rules ever since I was old enough to understand what was going on. They kept firearms safely stored away so that we couldn't get into them. But so a lot of it is just people who haven't been exposed to guns, who are just scared of them, or have this irrational fear of an inanimate object. And frankly, if you are so afraid of a firearm, you shouldn't have one. But just if you want to protect your family, you need to become educated. And I tell my friends who don't have weapons or who are afraid of weapons, look, let me take you to the range. Let's try shooting. See that it's not some big scary monster. It certainly deserves respect. There are rules that you always treat every firearm as though it's loaded. All the safety rules. But at the same time, though, it's not this powerful being that's going to transform you. If you put it in your hand, you're going to turn into some vigilante, monster thing. That's not it at all. And two, there's also concerns about, well, I've got small kids. How can I? My friends who have decided to take that step to become gun owners are concerned about safe storage, and balancing that with having small children in the house to make sure that the gun is accessible when there's an emergency. However, curious boys or girls can't get to the weapon when they're not being supervised.
Yeah, I mean, as a father of five, I've said that my firearm storage habits have changed over the years depending on the age of my kids, and what I've been able to teach them about firearms, which is why I think that this, like, a one-size-fits-all rule about firearm storage, again, is not going to work for everybody. What we need are involved parents. There are people who don't have any kids, who live in states where they're told that they, in essence, can't have a firearm accessible for protection in their own home because of the firearm storage laws. And they don't have to even think about a child that might be in that home. I mean, there's just all kinds of crazy stuff out there, Anna, that we're going to be dealing with for weeks and months to come. I really appreciate you contributing and you sounding off about this, because we need a lot of voices out there, including yours.
Well, thank you so much. It definitely, I think, gun rights are a women's issue because, women in general are the weaker sex. I mean, it's maybe not politically correct to say that, but we need to be able to level the playing field when it comes to protecting ourselves and our families.
Anna Rickers with the Independent Women's Forum. Thanks for your time tonight, Anna. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Thanks, Cam.